Talk to me a little bit about how Blockify leads into RAG and what Eternal is doing in that. You mentioned it. You mentioned Blockify earlier. Talk to us a little bit about how that's going to look in the future.
Yeah, Blockify is an incredibly exciting technology. It's a patented solution that we developed actually many years ago, about 4 years ago. And it's really taken on a whole new life with this concept of RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. And for those who don't know, essentially what Retrieval Augmented Generation does is it uses large language models and some fancy search techniques to go off and scan some kind of data set and use that data set to answer the questions. So you're essentially using your own data with a large language model to respond to specific questions. And so now that's really cool, but it has some fundamental flaws. And we're just now starting to see companies realize that those flaws exist. But we're still early in the days. It's probably going to be 1 to 2 years before people really start to feel the pain. The good news is we already have a solution for it. So the big issue is right now, if you do RAG on a document data set, it's garbage in, garbage out. Right? If your documents are not of high quality, they're not curated, or they have inaccurate information in those documents, you will get incorrect, poor responses from your RAG large language model.
Right.
The solution and the way to approach that is you effectively have to fix all of the inaccuracies and curate your data set. And if you've got 1 million documents in a data set, or let's just take the RFP use case as an example. You know, typically the scenario is you'd have 1,000 RFPs that you've responded to in the past that you'd use for one of these RAG large language models. But the issue is those RFPs are not all current. Some of them may be a month old, but others may be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years old. And the issue there is that information, that 3-year-old RFP response is probably outdated in some capacity. Maybe not the whole thing, but I can guarantee that at least 5% of it is out of date. But you don't necessarily know which 5% either. So the challenge is, how do you keep those old legacy documents updated? And unfortunately, doing it the old way, there simply aren't enough human hours or resources or dollars to be able to throw at that problem to keep all of these documents and duplicative information up to date. And that's where Blockify comes in. So what Blockify can do is it can actually increase the accuracy of a large language model using RAG by 40 times.
Wow.
So that's 4,000% improvement in accuracy. And the way that we're able to do that is through our patented process and some specially trained large language models.